So here's a number that should keep you up at night. 78% of full-time workers in America are living paycheck to paycheck. Not minimum wage workers, not part-timers, full-time workers. And a huge chunk of them, they're middle-class families, pulling in six figures. You want to know what's really going on? It's not inflation, although that doesn't help. It's not student loans, although those are brutal too. There is one money mistake that middle-class families make over and over and over again. And the worst part, most of them don't even realize they're making it, because it doesn't feel like a mistake when it's happening. It feels like success. It feels like you're doing everything right. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what that mistake is, why it's destroying your financial future, and most importantly, the exact steps to fix it. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you will see your money in a completely different way. Let me paint you a picture. You graduate college, you land your first real job. Maybe you're making $45,000, $50,000 a year. You're sharing an apartment with a roommate, driving a car you bought used, and eating a lot of ramen. And honestly, you're fine. Not great, but fine. You can pay your bills. You've got a little left over. Then a few years go by. You get promoted, or you switch companies and negotiate a raise. Now you're making $70,000. And here's what happens, and I want you to really think about whether this sounds familiar. You start thinking, I deserve a better apartment. So you move out of the shared place and get your own one-bedroom. Then it's, I've been driving this old car for 5 years. I can afford a car payment now. So you upgrade. Then it's, I should start eating better. I'll do meal prep with nicer ingredients from Whole Foods instead of the discount grocery store. None of these decisions are stupid. Individually, each one is small. Maybe your rent went up by $400. Your car payment is $350. Groceries went up by $200. That's only about $1,000 a month. But you got a raise of, let me do the math, $25,000 a year is about $2,000 a month after taxes. So you're still ahead by $1,000, right? No, because you forgot something. You forgot about the gym membership you never use, the streaming subscriptions, all 6 of them, the new phone you upgrade every 2 years, the clothes you buy because you need to look professional now, the vacations you take because you work hard, you deserve it, and suddenly that $1,000 cushion, it's gone. You're right back where you started, making $70,000 a year and feeling just as broke as you did at 45. That's the mistake. It's called lifestyle creep, and it is the single biggest reason middle-class families stay trapped in the middle class. Why lifestyle creep is so dangerous now, you might be thinking, okay, so I spend more when I make more. That's normal. That's just how life works. And you're half right. It is normal. That's what makes it so dangerous. Because lifestyle creep isn't just about spending more. It's about spending more in ways that are almost impossible to reverse. Let me explain what I mean. When you upgrade from a used Honda to a new BMW, you don't just add a car payment. You add insurance that costs 3 times more. You add premium gas instead of regular. You add more expensive maintenance. You add the mental need to keep up that standard. And once you've driven that BMW for a year, going back to a Honda feels like a step backwards. It feels like failure, even though the Honda gets you to the exact same places. This is the trap. Lifestyle upgrades are sticky. They don't just cost money. They change your baseline. They change what you consider normal. And once that baseline moves up, it is psychologically almost impossible to move it back down. Here's a real example. A couple I know, and I won't use their real names, were making about $90,000 combined. They had a small house, one car, and about $15,000 in savings. Then the husband got a major promotion. Their income jumped to $140,000, and within 18 months, they had bought a bigger house with a bigger mortgage, leased 2 new cars, started eating out 4 times a week, and put their kids in private school. Their savings? Still $15,000. Their income went up by $50,000 a year, and they saved exactly 0 of it, because every dollar went to upgrading their lifestyle. And here's what makes lifestyle creep truly devastating. It's not just that you don't save, it's that you make yourself fragile. Because when your lifestyle costs exactly what you earn, or more, any disruption becomes a crisis. A job loss, a medical emergency, a recession. You have no margin, no buffer, no room to breathe. Before I get into the fix, and I've got 5 specific actionable steps coming up, if you're finding this valuable, do me a favor and hit that like button. It takes half a second and it really helps the channel. And subscribe if you want more content like this. I break down money concepts in plain English so you can actually use them. All right, let's get into the solution. The fix: 5 steps to defeat lifestyle creep. Step 1. Automate your savings before you see the money. This is the single most powerful thing you can do. When you get a raise, before you ever touch that money, set up an automatic transfer. Let's say your take-home goes up by $500 a month. Set up an automatic transfer of $300 to a separate savings or investment account on payday. Not at the end of the month, on payday. If the money never hits your checking account, you'll never miss it. You'll adapt your lifestyle to what's left, not to what you earn. Step 2. The 72-hour rule for any purchase over a set amount. Pick a number. For some people, it's $100. For others, it's $500. Whatever it is, if you want to buy something that costs more than that number, you have to wait 72 hours. 3 full days. No exceptions. Here's what happens. About 60 to 70% of the time, you'll realize you don't actually want the thing. The desire was emotional, not logical. The other 30 to 40% of the time, go ahead and buy it. You've thought about it, and you still want it. That's a real desire, not an impulse. Step 3. Calculate the real cost in hours worked, not dollars. This one changes everything. Let's say you make $30 an hour after taxes. You see a jacket that costs $300. That's not $300. That's 10 hours of your life. 10 hours of you sitting at a desk, dealing with a commute, putting up with your boss. Is that jacket worth 10 hours? Maybe it is. But you need to make that decision honestly, not in the dopamine haze of a shopping trip. Step 4. Maintain at least one modest habit, even as income grows. This is a psychological anchor. If you upgrade everything, you lose all sense of what enough feels like. So keep one thing modest on purpose. Maybe you still cook at home 3 nights a week. Maybe you still drive a reliable used car. Maybe you still pack your lunch for work. This isn't about being cheap. It's about keeping a connection to the version of you that was happy with less. Because that version of you was probably just as happy as the current version. Maybe happier. Step 5. Audit your subscriptions and fixed costs every 6 months. Lifestyle creep doesn't just come from big purchases. It comes from the slow drip of monthly commitments that you never revisit. That streaming service you signed up for to watch one show. The premium app subscription you forgot about. The gym you haven't visited since January. Every 6 months, Sit down with your bank statement and go line by line. Cancel anything that isn't actively improving your life right now, not 6 months ago. Right now. What happens when you beat lifestyle creep? Okay, let me show you what this actually looks like in real numbers, because I don't want to just tell you save money. I want you to see the exact difference it makes. Let's take two families. Both start at $60,000 a year. Both get raises over the next 20 years until they're making $120,000. Family A, they do what most people do. Every raise gets absorbed into a better lifestyle. Bigger house, newer cars, nicer restaurants, more vacations. By year 20, their savings rate is the same 5% it always was. Family B, they implement the steps I just described. Every raise, they save 50% of the increase and let their lifestyle absorb the other 50%. Their savings rate climbs from 5% to 15%, then 20%, then 25%. By year 20, Family A has about $80,000 in savings and investments. Not nothing, but not enough to retire on. Family B, over $400,000. Same income trajectory, same career, same number of hours worked. The only difference was that Family B didn't let every dollar of income become a dollar of spending. And here's the part that really matters. Family B doesn't feel deprived. Remember, they still upgraded their lifestyle with 50% of every raise. They still live better than they did at 60,000. They just didn't upgrade all the way up. They left a margin. And that margin is the difference between being trapped in the middle class and building real wealth. Why this is so hard. Now, let's talk about why this is so hard. Because if it were easy, everyone would do it. And they clearly don't. The first reason is social comparison. We don't evaluate our lifestyle in a vacuum. We evaluate it relative to the people around us. If your friends are buying bigger houses, if your coworkers are driving nicer cars, if your neighbors are taking better vacations, you feel like you're falling behind. Even if you're doing fine, even if you have everything you need. The brain interprets having less than my peer group as a threat. The second reason is what behavioral economists call the hedonic treadmill. This is the well-documented phenomenon where increases in happiness from lifestyle upgrades are temporary. You get the new car, you're excited for 2 weeks. Then it's just your car. You move into the bigger house, you're thrilled for a month. Then it's just your house. And now you need the next upgrade to feel that same boost. This is literally how the brain works. Dopamine is triggered by the anticipation of a reward, not by having it. So, the new thing gives you a hit. Then you adapt. Then you need a newer new thing. It's a treadmill. You keep running, but you never actually get anywhere. The third reason is that we confuse spending with identity. When you buy the luxury car, you're not just buying transportation, you're buying the identity of someone who drives a luxury car. When you buy the expensive house, you're buying the identity of someone who lives in that neighborhood. And giving up that spending feels like giving up that identity, which is why downgrading feels like failure, even when it's the smartest financial move you could make. Why the middle class is shrinking. Now, I want to zoom out for a second because lifestyle creep doesn't happen in a vacuum. There's a structural reason the middle class is so vulnerable to this trap. Real wages, that's wages adjusted for inflation, have been essentially flat since the late 1970s. Meanwhile, the cost of the things that define a middle-class life, housing, healthcare, education, childcare, have skyrocketed. So middle-class families are squeezed from both sides. Their incomes aren't growing in real terms, but the cost of maintaining their lifestyle is constantly rising. And here's the cruel irony. The financial industry knows this. Credit card companies, auto lenders, buy now, pay later services, they all target middle-class families precisely because they're the most desperate to maintain the appearance of a lifestyle they can no longer afford. The average American household carries over $6,000 in credit card debt. That's not reckless spending, that's lifestyle maintenance on credit. So when I say lifestyle creep is the biggest money mistake middle-class families make, I'm not blaming them. The system is literally designed to push them into it. But understanding that the trap exists is the first step to escaping it. All right, here's what I want you to do in the next 30 days. Not someday, not when you have time. The next 30 days. Week 1. Pull your last 3 months of bank and credit card statements. Categorize every single expense. Don't estimate. Look at the actual numbers. Most people are shocked when they see where their money actually goes. Week 2. Identify every subscription and recurring payment. Cancel at least 2 that you can live without. It doesn't have to be dramatic, just 2. You'll save maybe $30 or $50 a month. That's $300 to $600 a year, and you won't miss them. Week 3. Set up one automatic transfer. Even if it's just $50 per paycheck into a high-yield savings account. The amount matters less than the habit. You're building the infrastructure that will protect you from lifestyle creep for the rest of your life. Week 4. Have a real conversation with your partner, or with yourself if you're single, about what enough looks like. Not what would impress other people, not what your parents think. What would make you genuinely content? Write it down. That's your target lifestyle. Everything above that is optional. 4 weeks. 4 actions. That's it. You don't need a budget spreadsheet with 47 categories. You don't need a financial advisor. You need to start. Here's the truth that nobody tells you about building wealth. It is not about making more money. There are people making $200,000 a year who are broke, and there are people making $60,000 who are building real financial security. The difference is never income. The difference is always the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Lifestyle creep closes that gap. Every time you let your spending rise to meet your income, you erase the very thing that could set you free. And the middle class, the real middle class, the one that built this country, was never about what you bought. It was about what you saved. It was about stability. It was about having enough that a bad month didn't become a bad year. So protect that gap. Grow that gap. And if this video helped you see something you hadn't seen before, drop a comment below. I read every single one. Hit subscribe if you want more content like this. And share this with someone who needs to hear it, because the people who need this advice the most are usually the last ones looking for it. I'll see you in the next one.